now listening to The Real.
Man, I appreciate them dudes for talking about
The Raw.
Wait, they were talking about
The Relatable.
That's exactly what I've been going through.
The Relentlessly Real podcast.
Welcome to the Relentlessly Real podcast, where we discuss real, raw, and relatable topics. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our podcast today. We're going to kick this off with some introductions. My name is Jonathan Jones.
My name is Mike Williams.
And I am Terrence.
Let's just talk about marriage for a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Let's not be, and we're not going to be weird about it. Anyone that's single, you should hear this because you want to get married. If you have an aspiration to be married, I think it's something we should talk about. But like legit, man, we having conversations just about practical ways that married couples can work together to strategize to have a better sex life. Essentially is what we're saying. Right?
Yeah.
That's the blanket theme, if you will. Now, under that theme is, you know, really the how do we do that? You know, what's the practical application of how we do that in a day-to-day setting with our spouses? So let's say hypothetically, you have trash sex with your wife. I mean, the sex is just garbage. Hypothetically.
Horrible.
It's horrible, right? You're like, yo.
Deplorable.
So it's so bad. Not only did you not come, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you literally flipped the covers over and turned your body away from your spouse. And then the next morning, when she said morning, you said, And when she's like, says, hi, you know, you gonna talk to me today? Like you just mad. Everything's.
Can you say it again?
And that's the man talking.
Yeah.
So like,
Is it though?
well, yeah, hopefully, prayerfully, that's the man talking. But look, that's the energy that I'm speaking to. We're talking about that type of situation. How do we as men begin the conversation with our spouses that the sex that we had last night wasn't good sex?
Man, I think it's just it comes with understanding your spouse too, right? On being able to approach certain things. There should be open line of communication with anything and everything, but that's not always the easiest thing to do depending on the subject, right?
Yeah.
So when it sucks because you love your spouse, you love your wife,
Right.
and you want to do anything to ensure that they are happy, they are secure, they are you know, not just secure mentally and emotionally, but like physically, as a provider, as a protector, all that stuff. Like these are the things that you want to make sure is good for your wife. And when you bring up hard topics like this to say that, yo, like sex was trash, this is pointing out their flaws. So understanding how they react to the constructive criticism behind it, and understanding like emotions can fly at this point, because like, man, when it comes down to sex, like people's feelings and emotions are in it, bro. Like especially when I'm frustrated about something.
Right.
Sexual frustration is a monster, and it can eat away at you and you not even realize it.
But do you do it, I guess, when you're speaking to that with your spouse, do you do it in the bedroom as it's happening? Like, see, girl, I didn't like that right there. That you did right there, I didn't like that. Or is it something like that you said after sex? Like before we about to go to sleep? Like, when does that happen?
So I think it's two instances, right?
Mm-hmm.
During, it can happen during sex. It just depends on the type of, I guess, willingness and openness you're having while that sexual experience is happening. So if you both know you're going into something that's new and refreshing or whatever, or not new and refreshing, but like new to both of you, then there needs to be, I guess, the rules of engagement, if you will, like established, right?
Yeah.
Prior to, it's like, hey, you know, communicate with me. Let me know, hey, does this feel good? Does this not feel good? Do you like that? Whatever. And be open to that on both ends. But even if it's not a new thing, say if
open to that on both ends.
Say
it.
I just shook my head.
I was like, oh.
No pause. No, but being I guess open to it from both sides of the fence, right?
Yeah.
Like with the husband and the wife. And even if it's not a new thing, say if something random happens like something that you're used to or accustomed to, and somebody slips up and does something that you don't like or whatever. It's like, hey, be open to be like, hey, I don't really like that. Like, oh, stop. Like, don't
what is it about our spouses or spouses in general that says, and this is more of the mind of the woman. Obviously, we don't have our wives here, but like, what is it about them that says, you know, I didn't like that, but I can't tell him, or you know, does he like that, and I can't, you know, and just that unsureness that happens in the bedroom.
Sometimes it could be a misconception of submission. So sometimes it could be that, and I'm not necessarily saying that about my spouse. I'm speaking in general, right? It could be a misconception of the submission aspect of like husband and wife, and when you're in the bedroom, you're trying to please, when a wife is trying to please their husband, and vice versa. Yeah, like sometimes that could be on the husband too. It's just like, I know she's trying, but let me go ahead and just take this. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is.
And I think I think how you say it. If we're talking about in terms of, and this could be man and woman, I think how you say it in terms of if you're communicating pleasure or displeasure, comfort or discomfort while you're in the moment. Yeah, I think how you say it might be more important than what you say. Okay. Because how you say it can ruin the whole mood. You know, like if he's like I'm just being, you know, relentlessly like real. Yes, please. If he's going down on you, and you're generally like a little bit of nibble, and he bites too hard, right?
Okay, I can see why you were treading very.
Your bite. He almost gives you a hysterectomy. Like he just
Jesus.
Like makes sense.
Yeah.
I think you saying like, you know, nigga, stop. That like, no, what are you doing? You an idiot. Like, no. But
that can ruin the whole sexual.
That's it. Like, that's done. You know, unless he's like some kind of like
creep.
He's like, okay, like, you know,
I'll do a little softer.
But you say, exactly. But you saying like, you know, like you know. No, babe. You like no, babe. Use this. Like
there's a tact behind it,
right? Which goes back to a point that John made like several podcasts ago about it is very important, or maybe we're just talking about it. Mm-hmm. It is important for you to know as a person what pleases you, because if you don't know what physically pleases you, or if you have not had the conversation on rules of engagement on less, I'm okay with what pleases me, I want to find it out together. Right. You know, it then becomes unfair for you to assume he knows. Yeah. And also unfair for you to assume that she knows. Right. Yeah. You know, it's the same thing vice versa. If and we were having a conversation, it's so funny that there is nothing worse than bad oral from a woman.
Either side.
From either side.
But from a woman.
I can't speak because I'm not a woman, but I just know like if you know, if
from a man's perspective,
if you going down,
if you gonna go there, go all the
way in, man. Give it 100%.
That's it. Your effort.
But I also think, with that being said, it is a fair conversation for you and your spouse to have. And I would even say, if you aren't a virgin, I think it's even more fair to have it even before you get married. If you're a virgin, I understand why you might not, because you don't know. Makes it like you're immature in that regard. You don't know any better. Sure. But if you do know what pleases, if you do know what likes, you should have a conversation about, you know, what is she willing to do, what is she not willing to do. Yeah. What did you should have those conversations, especially as you get towards marriage counseling or etc. Which I don't think they do a lot. I don't know how much sex is talked about during marriage counseling.
Yeah. I've only been through marriage counseling once, so I can only speak off.
I've been through 7 times, and my third time. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all like this nigga.
Look at him like,
7, it's my 7th marriage.
No, but even on that aspect of like pre-marriage counseling and like having those conversations about sex, I think it gets kind of sketchy, at least depending on where you are morally. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to save your, virginity till marriage, you're also thinking about the things that you're exposing yourself to that could potentially entice you to want to do that before marriage.
I can see that.
Right? I see so now you're not only battling that, but you're battling certain insecurities about yourself just as a human being. Yeah. Trying to figure out how to have that convo. But I think counseling is the perfect place to have that conversation, because you have somebody that can lead and guide that conversation. overall.
And then I would say if you are married, you definitely, at least in marriage, you should be having these conversations. I don't think it's anything wrong. I think it's countercultural. I think it's not normal. I think we don't do that. I think especially that might be something that's frowned upon in the church. That's one of my biggest.
What's frowned
talking about sex like in a very graphic way, even in within your marriage. And it
definitely is, and that's kind of what I was about to say towards Mike's point. I agree with Mike that you kind of go into a whole different door of a bunch of things when you're a virgin or not married, and you're looking to figure out what pleases yourself.
Yeah,
that's a whole world of things, and you might go too far in that world. But at the other end of that spectrum is those women that are ill prepared for marriage and have no understanding of what it means to be a spouse and have no understanding what it means to have pleasure, and their minds are not even wrapped around that they're no longer filthy anymore to have sex outside of marriage because you're now married. Let's say if all of your life you have learned a culture of it's disgusting, it's bad, it's not for you, you shouldn't do it, and then you're married to your spouse instantaneously, and your spouse is like, let's get it on, and you still have that mind frame of it's ugly, it's disgusting, I can't do it. That transformation, that conditioning has you need that transformation to take place at some point. And I really feel like there needs to be a healthy discussion in that space of where before you're married. And after you start to realize, okay, this is something I want to pursue after, there should be some space in between where you're like, okay, this is something I should be wrapping my mind around.
We need to talk about it. We should be talking about this.
I'm talking about just as single people, though. I'm saying before you're married, so you're not caught off guard as a single woman.
So
a married woman.
So to that point, that was something that Renee made a point to do. She would look at certain videos, whether it was like YouTube or like read certain articles and stuff, so she can start to prep her mind on what to expect. When that happens.
But that's not typical, is what I'm trying to say.
That's
the
not
large majority of women and or men. But men are more sexual beings anyway. So when you tell us it's time to go, we've been ready 25 years ago. But like women, it's more of a whole I gotta wrap my mind and brain around this height, especially in the church, right? Like where it's like you don't talk about it, you don't think about it, it doesn't happen until you're pregnant or until you're married and pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what you said made me think about when I got married, and it was crazy. My dad is, y'all know my dad because we talked to him before we started our podcast.
Yeah.
This guy got me a book. Well, he had a book already. It was laying around it. Okay. And so I was like, he's like, now that you're married. All right. Now that you're married, I got this book for you. I'm like, okay, Dad. Cool. Thank you. So I opened the book, nothing but penises and vaginas all through the book. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? Like, Dad, we've gone from never talking about sex to here's a bunch of penises and vaginas. This is what you do.
He brings out the Bible.
Yeah, the Bible on sex. And
so he got you Playboy. Keep going.
It wasn't Playboy, but it was literally, and it was like a book. So Jovita was supremely weirded out by the fact that my dad got basically a book for me to get her to knock them walls down. He was like, "Here's a book for you, son. Go ahead and follow step number 3. You really gonna take her there."
Sex with married 101.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's gross. But that whole exchange of going from being an adult person in college that is maybe at that, and I'm not saying that's the point once you decide to get married. I'm saying from my experience and from some of our experiences, we're in college, we met our spouse maybe in college, and how do we go from the meeting of our spouses and the dating of our spouses to the marriage bed? How do we frame that up in a way that we don't like come off track of what we're trying to do, which is to get married and hopefully have kids in the marriage and not us outside of it? I think it's a whole thing of like having those conversations and creating a culture that's like, hey, and I was kind of speaking to these guys offline like about this. Like my wife and I are starting to try to, and she hasn't noticed, but I'm more of a mindset of myself. When we're not having sex, hey, how was sex yesterday for you? I'm trying to create a culture with my wife where we discuss our sex life outside of the bedroom, which I think is something that would assist in the bedroom being a more enjoyable experience for both of us. So I think, yes, talk about it. I think it should be a agreeable thing where you both are talking throughout sex. I do think that should happen. And I don't think it should be like a whole bunch of talking, but at the same time, I don't think it should be like, she's squimishing or she's in pain and she can't say anything because we're having sex. It's supposed to be this moment.
Right.
And I think a little bit of that to me is like, that's part of what it is. It's like, I'm having sex with my husband. He's enjoying it, and even though it might be hurting me, I might not vocalize that.
Yeah, Like you.
Does that make sense? Like
she's focused so much on you
that she ain't getting it.
Yeah.
That because at this point she's just trying to make sure I'm good.
And I think that's not okay.
And I agree that that's not okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
But that has to do with a lot more than the bedroom sex and all that. To me, it's like character, like not character, but like who you are as a person. Like, are you a vocal person, or are you someone that's like less likely to share? Will you just serve the purpose of like, oh, I'll just serve him because that's my mindset. I want to serve him, so it may mean that I might not say anything because some women are like that.
Yeah, personality and temperament plays a part in that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So like a lot of that is like how do we do this in a way that's like, okay, you communicate to me, I communicate to you, and it doesn't ruin the sexual experience. Because the one thing I know that sucks sometimes in marriage is like you lose spontaneity because you're married and you've been around each other all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It ain't as spontaneous as it was in college and how it was with other various partners, at least for me.
I forget what the term is, but it's like it's like the commonality of living with like when
cohabitation.
When you cohabitate with somebody, like that's what you see all the time, and it becomes a norm, and things become habitual, and like it's just a mode of life.
Yeah,
and automated almost.
I would say what's so funny is we were talking about that, me and our former guest Antonio, because we're all friends even outside the podcast. For those who are listening, outside we're like close friends, and so we were talking about like this same topic, and I was expressing to him that about the spontaneity things as far in regards to that, and I was saying how it doesn't really take much to get me there, more than I think some women think it might. Like sometimes I feel like women, and I'll be generic, like my wife, like she might think it takes so much to get me there, and I'm just like, nah, it doesn't. Like you could be cleaning and you got on boy shorts and a t-shirt, and you might think, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, yo, what's good?
Like the moment is here now.
Like what's like,
we have to make split decisions.
Like what's good, and it's like I prefer that versus, okay, so at 6 o'clock we're gonna do this, at 8 o'clock and this, and then at 10:30, 10:15 of that, be ready.
I do not like that at all.
I agree with that, but it's so funny because we've talked about this before too, like how different women are, and to men that women need that kind of like seasoning all throughout the day, right? You're kind of like,
so I'm not talking about that.
I know you are. Yeah. I know you're not talking about that for men, because men aren't that way though. Mm-hmm. Like I'm saying that like it's interesting parallels. What I'm trying to say, because like you're saying for man, she walking around cleaning in regular clothes, you can smash her then, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am learning for myself. I'm not that way anymore. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Like yes, yes. If you have. Yes, okay, I'm still gonna partake of them cheeks. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, a little bit more of it is like, but do you just kind of want me like outside of sex? Do you find me just attractive? And I don't know if that happens. I'm sorry, I don't know if that happens over time in marriage.
I believe it does. Like you're like in the beginning stages of marriage, you're in the love bubble, right? Yeah. So anything and everything that y'all doing together is just like on par, including like the physical part of it, right? This is this new person that's in your life. You loving everything about this new person, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever.
Everything.
Yeah. So now that over time you're starting to not only see certain aspects you like and you don't like, but things are starting to become automated, right? Like you're starting to become into this habit of this person being here.
Yeah.
Where certain stuff just what is it, like white noise almost. If you listen to a TV being on for so long, at some point you're not even going to hear the TV because it blends into your background.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the concept that you take on. So now you start looking into the different things as far as mentally and emotionally that before physical was like up there.
Yeah.
But now mental and emotional is like I guess the heightened part of it. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And so I think I don't know if I'm there as far as I need it in order to be like turned on, or to need like
you need what to be turned on,
to need to be like to feel
wanted or desired.
No, it's not that. I think my wife initiating sex would by default, it may not be true, but it would send a message to me that that I'm attracted to her and that I desire her, and she desires me.
You said it may not be true.
It could not be true, but but at that moment in time,
true as in that moment in time, you not even thinking about
whether she does or not. I'm thinking if
okay.
if
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, if she's like, hey babe, come upstairs. Hey, or look, I'm about to be real honest. Yo, if I'm downstairs watching a football game, and you come downstairs,
come on,
and just say, you watch your game, I got this.
I've dreamed that. I don't know if you guys
listen.
I was like, Lord,
this is my dream.
Yes.
Listen.
I've had a dream of that.
Listen.
You continue to watch.
And
I'm eating too. I don't know about your dream.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I got wings in my hand. I don't know what's
Bruh, listen.
Wings, football, head.
I just don't know.
Right.
It's just all happening.
The trio.
Man, forget this
Give me
damn
that trio
game.
platter.
Forget this daggone game. Forget this game.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go. But
that's how you would be.
yes, but I also realized, this contrary to like love languages, we want what we give off. Because I'm also the type that if you was watching your favorite show, if you was watching something like if you were on your phone, if you were talking to like whatever, gossiping with your girlfriends.
Yeah.
Nope. Not only have I, but not will I have saying, yo, makes sense. Like, hey, keep talking. Like, come up to the room, slide them drawers off, and like I'm like, don't worry about it. Keep talking.
So is it
like?
So is it you want? We want what we give off, or we give off what we want.
We want what we want what we're willing. We want what we are willing to do, and that's even with love language. We love how most people love how they want to receive love. So and that's true across the board. What John, you and I are talking about is we have to be mindful that it's very difficult in the terms of physicality between men and women, because it will almost never be the same. Like it would almost never. It's very rare that it does happen. What I'm saying is, it's very rare that I will give physically, as far as like setting the mood up, etc.
Yeah. The
way she does it without having these conversations. Because if there are no conversations, your mind only knows it gets me hard.
Right.
It turns me on. So like, what's wrong with you? Like,
yeah. Right.
And if you aren't having these conversations, which we are not trained to have these conversations, then you are going to just continue to go through the motions. And yeah, you might get your rocks off. She might get her rocks off sometimes. But I feel like you'll never reach the plateau of the bomb sex life in your marriage if you are not having conversations about what pleases her, what etc. And I think I talked about it last time. If with women, and I'm not a woman, but I'm only speaking of what I've been told by my wife, other people. But if stuff is not happy for them right now, like if they're stressing over like this and that being done,
yeah, you ain't getting them draws.
No, you might, but it's going to be whack, and then you're going to wonder why it's whack. But it's just like,
But sometimes I wouldn't even equate that to just women, because men, and I can speak this for myself, like you can get to a point emotionally, mentally and emotionally, where like you not even in the mood for that type of stuff. So prime example, like for me, if I'm working on something, like working on a project or something like that, and my wife comes over and she's just like, hey, I'm trying to get it in right now, or alluding to that, I'm just like, dog, like what do I want more at this point? I'm really like focused in on this situation. I'm like, hey, let me finish this up and then I get right, we can get to it, or maybe not right now. This is just not that moment in time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think it gets to a point where like that's just me. Yeah, like that's how I'm built. That's how my mind is built. Because when I'm focused on a particular thing, I want to see it through.
And let me.
I'm about to say, you're telling me your wife ready to go. You like, I gotta finish this project though. That's what I'm gonna make sure I understand.
Not all the time.
Okay.
But sometimes
it smack you.
Sometimes it gets like that.
Before too.
Yeah, it gets like that.
I've been that way too, but I just was like, I don't know. Maybe
it's like I've done it, but when I step outside and hear it with somebody else,
seems crazy to me.
It's like, yo, what? Like, because what I think about is what message has that just sent to
your wife?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that could be something to consider.
That's
but also considering like, all right, what are the dynamics of the sex life? So if I'm constantly the initiator, and you decide to, I guess, when I say initiator, I mean initiator with like seeing the whole thing through and doing all the work. If I'm constantly the initiator and, you know, she decides to initiate but expect me to do the work, now I got to gear my mind towards doing that work rather than doing this work. So that's more so like where I'm coming from at this point.
That's a really good point, Mike.
That's why you're on the show. That's why we have you here.
Because I didn't think about that. Like,
no, me neither. And I think that that's a good point because I think the expectation is, and let me just say this across the board, I feel like all men want to be desired by their woman. All men want their wives to initiate sex. All men. I'm going to just make a broad statement. Maybe it may be true, not be true for you, but I believe all men want their wives to be like, hey, I'm about to put this work on you. And I'm about to be like, ooh, I can't wait, shawty, do your thing. But what he's speaking to, what Mike is speaking to is the idea of, oh, I'm gonna put this work on you and you're doing something else. And you now know that, okay, you putting that work on me is me really having to put that work back on you. So it's not, you're not taking the full ownership of this.
And that's his expectation. Even though you don't know what she would have planned, you don't know what she would have done, but because just based off of past experiences, you realize that you're going to be like doing all the work.
And I don't even know. I maybe this is something we want to have an episode where we have our spouses on, but I don't know why our wives wouldn't want to initiate, I mean, hypothetically, initiate sex. Just off the strength of alone, like, man, this is just different. And I can't wait to, that just the difference for us as men, to me, it just kind of triggers a different, or elicits a different response. Like, because it's different, I'm going to respond different.
But it can also come from okay, I don't really know how to initiate. So, like, if you don't have those type of conversations.
What do you mean? Okay, dive deeper. You don't know how to initiate. Grab the D and you've initiated, it's time to go.
But it goes back to what you're saying before, because if I'm correct, Mike, she was a virgin, right, before you guys got married. And so it may not be true, but with that context of being a virgin comes what type of conversations were allowed, were not allowed, were had, what kind of topics we're talking about,
and what type of mindset you're trying to put yourself, like, pull yourself from and put yourself into.
Are you saying that women that are, and this is a broad strokes approach, okay, but women that have had more intercourse or sex or whatever prior to being married to you or I, they are more amped or more have the ability to think more about how to initiate sex than someone that has not?
But I'm saying it's a stronger possible. If I was a betting man,
I'm thinking about it from a concept perspective, right?
Like, I'm into. I'm just asking concept.
So thinking about from the concept of training camp, you got a football player that goes through training all these times.
That's the perfect analogy.
Yeah, you go through training all week long, and then when you finally get to game day, you know, all these things are the way you're reacting to things are automated at this point, like muscle memory.
Yeah.
So this is like what you were trained to do. But if you were some Joe Blow off the street or whatever, you know, some football player off the street that hasn't gone through training, you don't know none of the plays and nothing like that, you're not going to know how to react. You're basically going off of whatever instinct you've built in the past.
Excuse us, Terrence. Excuse us.
So
excuse us.
Will
you hit the button, please?
Shut up!
God dang. We only had a podcast.
And the only reason why I don't
Terrence is showing his age right now. How you turn this thing on?
What is this contraption?
What is this?
What in the hemoglobin?
Like, good God.
So no, but Mike, because I was trying to respond. I was so stuck because that's such a good analogy, and it's just like, and it reminded me of something that I have to steal because it was so dope the other day. I thought I might send something to one of you all last night. Rebecca DuPaz posted this thing about potential. And it said potential was just a bunch of stuff that somebody ain't doing. Like, it's just a bunch of crap that somebody ain't doing.
That's true.
And I'm like, oh wow, like so what? So to me, no offense, the person who is a virgin has the potential, while the person who is not a virgin, you don't know, you they could be whack, but you are more inclined to believe that they possess the necessary talents and skills to please you because they have the experience. And in my thing, sex is one of the things that you, even man and woman, I don't care how women try to bash men. I think man and woman, that's one of the things that you get better with experience. It doesn't mean you need multiple partners. What I'm saying is you get just better with experience, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I feel like if somebody who's never had it before, and I could be wrong, but somebody who's never had it before is less inclined to just grab the D as the way to turn you on.
Yeah.
While someone who has done it several times and has known, like, you know, or you know, I've done this in the past, I'm going to assume that if I just grab the D, he's going to go up in the air. It's going to get him up.
So let me clear this up, right? Yeah. That's what he said.
That's what get him up.
No pause.
No pause needed.
Because that's
he's
what
a grown man saying he's gonna get another man up.
Now, you said it. You said grab the D first.
I did.
Okay.
But
So
you
that don't matter. You also did not pause. Did not pause.
I didn't pause it. Yeah.
So okay, what I really wanted to clear up was I don't want to put a bad perception on folks that go into marriage as virgins.
Absolutely
should be inclined
out here
to
grabbing D's.
Yeah, grabbing D's before marriage. That's not what I'm saying. That's
not
what we're saying.
So you're not getting any, but let me just.
Yeah.
What happens when you grab it this way?
You're gonna get that work.
but what we are saying is like being able to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Prior to marriage, put yourself in a mindset to understand like what happens when that time comes where you're able to do it. That's, I guess, a part of the training analogy that I was trying to give.
And it's also beautiful to me. It's to me. People ask me what is the biggest regret that I've ever had. No offense, I'm sorry. The biggest regret I ever had was losing my virginity before marriage. It's one of my biggest regrets.
I agree with that.
Not because of like, yes, of course there's the God factor. Yes, I'm a believer. That goes without question. What I'm saying is, but it's a beautiful experience, and even still, I've talked about this in a church service before.
Yeah.
Even in marriage, and I'm not a virgin, it's still a beautiful experience of knowing what pleases my wife, knowing what pleases me, and being able to like, no offense, as many people, many times that I may have had sex before or etc. There is still no comparison as to like, I put it down for my wife,
right?
And that supersedes anybody who I've ever could have put it down before. Period. Makes sense. Like, it doesn't really matter. But it's a beautiful thing of trying to experience what pleases you, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. What I do wish is that as I'm more mature, is that there were more conversations about it as far as instead of just, hey, let's just figure this thing out while we're in the bedroom and talking about it post.
So keep in mind, you went into the mindset of marriage not for selfish reasons, though. I mean, some selfish reasons. Yeah, you love the person that you're getting married to, but you also went into it with a concept of, okay, this is my wife. I'm taking care of her. I put it in my mind to like want to make sure that she's good overall in everything that she, wants to be good in. Some people go into marriage with the mindset of, oh, well, I'm getting a wife for me. Like, I want a wife because I want a wife. I want her to be able to do this, that, and the third. I want her to be doing this way, that way, and whatever. And when people go into it with a selfish mindset, as if your wife is for you and you're not being for your wife, that whole concept gets flipped.
I'm sorry, and I also think that most men are selfish physically anyway.
Yes,
most men are when it comes to that department, most men really are like selfish.
In the sense of that we finish and we move on.
Yeah.
Is this from a natural perspective? Or help me understand like how you come into that.
There is a popular mindset and a popular misconception that women don't have to orgasm all the time in order to enjoy sex. I think that's BS. Yes. I think it's a lie. There's a popular misconception that it's almost historical because I've it actually is historical evidence about this.
The historian talking.
Yeah. I took a class. This sounds so bad. I took a class in college on the history of gay and lesbianism.
On what?
It was the class was the history of gay and lesbianism. It was and the reason why I took the class is this was the year I was graduating, the year and semester I was graduating. And you know how I don't know if they still do it, but you had to pick certain things out of those that block to fulfill that last goal you needed.
Yeah, electives.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't elective. It was not elective.
Who cares? Okay.
Anyway, you had to take X amount of classes out that fulfill this goal that you
right.
Got it.
And so everything on there was boring. It was like Russian history. Don't care about that. It was like this and this. And there were 3 that were left, and the other 2 were full. And I said, okay, well, let me just take this class. It's probably going to be taught by some lesbian. She's not going to be like, she's going to be some, that's what I thought, some lesbian who's not going to be interested. And it was on the contrary. It was taught by a lady who was married. She was a white lady. She was married to a black man. They were both doctors. The black man taught at the school, and like they don't taught at school. And this topic, it could have never. It was one of the best classes I've ever taken. And one of the things we learned about, we read articles and books and etc. about how the male dominance has led to men not understanding how women receive pleasure in the bedroom. And it was believed. It was like literally believed and preached that this was all about them, nothing about you. And so we literally are within the past 50, 70, 80 years of at least realizing that no, women get pleasure from this too, even as a society. It makes it like that's still like less than 100 years old. So it transcends. It becomes important when we had the discussion because I think by default men are selfish across the board. Men like to feed their egos, and I'm no different than anybody. But one thing I did, I went into marriage is even in that regards is that even like my interactions with my wife is you first, me next. Like you first. You got to get yours. Like even if I don't get mine, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna make sure you get yours. But
so you're a gentleman.
Yeah. But on the flip
and a scholar,
side,
apparently.
Yeah. But on the flip side, it should be like that anyway. Like
as long as somebody gets something, that's how I'm like.
No,
I'm gonna head out.
You so ignorant.
So I kind of I hear the historical facts and everything, but I kind of disagree with men just being selfish in nature altogether, right? And hear me out on this because when you start talking about temperaments, these innate things that people are born with, like as far as like how they react to stimuli in their environments, right? So when you have your temperaments, this is across the board. This isn't just about men and women. These are people in general. You got people out there, including men, that are just people pleasers. So your mindset, like it's in you to want to please other people. So to say that all men or most men,
I'm gonna say most.
Yeah, to say that most men are selfish in nature, I kind of disagree with that. But I hear you.
How do you feel, John?
I have no thoughts about any of it because I feel like I do what I got to do in the bedroom and I'm gonna head out.
Selfish mother.
You heard what I said. I said what I said.
Exactly what I just talked about.
I'm just saying. I just feel like, sex is something that is it changes over time. It's not always the same way every time. I mean, what turned your wife on the first time ain't gonna turn her on the third time. Ain't gonna turn her on the 10th time. So I just feel like it's such a moving thing that's fluid.
Very fluid.
That it's kind of hard to pinpoint. But I just think there's certain like rudimentary things that I kind of be like, man, I just want to make sure we talk about whether you're actually enjoying what we're doing in the bedroom. Because I'm almost like, what is the view of success for this? Like not just coming, like you coming and me coming, but that may be one of the things. But like, what else? What else other than that? Like, do you feel heard in the bedroom? Do you feel understood, valued in the bedroom?
Yeah, I agree.
I think all those things kind of trickle into that experience that don't happen if you're just like out here hitting women up like on a one and done type thing. Yeah. It just doesn't. You don't care. We both out here to get that nut. But I'm like, in experience with our spouses, it's just a different type of growth.
That goes to my point because some of us, and here's the bad part. Some, and it's mostly men, but some people build their idea of bringing their A game in the bedroom based off what they see off porn.
Yep.
And it's a horrible teacher. It's such a horrible teacher.
But there's not. I agree that it's a horrible teacher. But there are not many other teachers.
That's my point.
And that's my point. That's like, I mean, your point and my point. Like this is the issue. This is why we're having this discussion. This is why this topic matters, because the large majority of individuals in the church, outside the church, whatever, if they're talking about sex, it's not about like, are you feeling good about this experience? And
it's about what's wrong with it.
It's about what's wrong with it. It's about what's should you be doing that in the butt, not in the butt, this, that, and the third. Like, okay, aside from all of those things, like legit, like, I mean, there are things that, I mean, they have just kind of become okay in time, right? Like, so like my parents, I don't even want to think about this imagery, but I had to say it to make it make sense to us. Head back, like I remember my dad talking about head back in the day when I was younger. He was just like, that's just despicable. That's disgusting. That's nasty. I can't believe somebody would do that. it's a normalcy now.
Yeah.
And the thing that are now normalcy with head, now there are some other things that are going to be like, we're going to be 20 years from now, like, I can't believe they're doing this in the bedroom. 30 years from now, okay, I can't believe like, they're doing what now? And all I'm trying to say is, in an experience of like my wife and I trying to figure out, okay, how do we talk about sex with each other, and then talk about it with our daughter, and then talk about it with our son, and like how do we create a healthy culture? Because what I'm scared of is my daughter's gonna get old enough to want to have sex, at least as far as her mind thinks she can and should.
Yeah.
And then because I have had no discussions because of my level of discomfort in my marriage first, and then to my child, it's only trickled down the negative impacts into our family.
Yeah.
And now my daughter's out here having sex because daddy's scared to talk about it with his wife and his child. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or what we see is, what I see daily is, I got these kids sending images to themselves to one another because they have these feelings. They don't know how to cater it. There's nobody to talk to, and it's
Absolutely.
just like, and they don't understand.
We've talked about that on other podcasts where it's become like a whole viral thing. Somebody airdrop one thing in one school. Everybody gets the airdrop of their penis or their daughters with no bras on, whatever, and it's good. Everybody in the whole school gets it. And I'm saying, like, what would it look like as a climate, as a culture today, where we say let's put this particular topic on its head and say, no pun intended, and let's deal with it and let's handle it. Let's talk about it. Let's not make it such a taboo thing.
Yeah.
Because that's why our kids are like out here sending those images, because it's like nobody's telling me about my pee. Like, they're talking about everything else.
They better not see that either.
They ain't. But a lot of the culture is from what they get from school, and they get that energy is like, oh, you ain't, like I told y'all before. Like, the only reason I ever masturbated was because everybody was like, you don't masturbate. That was literally it. I was like,
what is that?
What y'all talking about? And then when I was like, oh, that's what y'all talking about. Oh, I like it. I don't want to stop now. Thank you. And I'm being honest. But I would never have thought about it if not being around other people that said, this is my experience and this is what I think you should be doing sexually. And and because nothing combated that thought, no one ever said that's not for you. No one ever said you should explore that. I did what they told me to do.
Yeah.
I think across the board it's just healthy to have that conversation. I guess to what a point that Mike was bringing up earlier before is, if it's not in the bedroom, or what happens if you ask that question, like, how did it feel, the other night, or she asked you and the answer is, well, to be honest, it's not good. It wasn't good.
What do you mean what? Then what?
How does?
First of all, let me go get my whole feelings and all of my emotions.
That's where I'm going to.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's across the board.
I'm putting in my best work, and she like, yeah, actually,
it was
listen,
it was trash.
You thought you was playing dragons, and you just rolling caterpillars.
Just gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna be right back.
Right.
Like,
bawling, crying in the bathroom. I did my best.
Yeah.
Give me, I gotta use the restroom real quick. I see that happening so clear to me. I don't know why. But
what if it's honest?
That's an honest thing.
Like, if it's honest.
But I feel like what you're saying is real. One. Two, yes. Like, that should happen.
Who else you gonna be honest with?
Thank you. Because here's the thing. If that don't happen, then what's the alternative? My wife has trash sex for the next 40 years? Or she's been having trash sex now. She thinks about wanting to have sex with somebody else that's not trash. There's no good fruit that comes from that. So I'd rather you tell me I'm trash, so I can be like, let me go ahead and figure this thing out, than to be like, nah, you're not trash. You're so super good at it. I think I'm good at it. And all you're thinking about is like, yo, if I can get this guy to knock me out, or if I could knock myself out. Like, there are so many unhealthy things that birth from that non-discussion.
Let me flip it, because I want to cater like a part of this to men too.
Okay.
Because a lot of times women think that just because you got a vagina that you bring your A game, and that doesn't always mean that. Like, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, it's a healthy conversation both ways. Like,
I agree with that.
Don't just think because
got that good,
I know we get it. All men want sex. We know all men. We totally get that. There's truth to that. And I could even say there's truth that it doesn't take too much to please a man physically. There may be truth to that too. Yeah. I'm not gonna knock that, but what I'm saying is, I think it's a healthy conversation to even want to hear that feedback on what you as a woman could be doing better. don't have an ego about, well, you came. So let me say that too. Just because somebody came doesn't mean that's not the pinnacle of it was great. And I think sometimes we think that, and that's a very unhealthy thing to think, I think, in a marriage.
I agree.
If you whatever you want to do while you're dating that's cool. But in the confines of marriage, you need to go beyond the confines of marriage. Thank you. You need to go beyond, thinking, because he came, it was good.
I can see that being the thing. Like,
I agree with that.
You having this concept of, okay, this is the end goal, and then what if you meet that person? Because not everybody, I think it's like whatever percentage where like women don't orgasm or don't orgasm easy or something like that, right?
Yeah.
If you meet that one person that doesn't, and you just like, what am I doing wrong? And the whole time, she just ain't wired like that.
That's a thing, though.
Listen,
that's a thing.
I don't know, man.
That's a thing, T.
It is.
Maybe you out there like hit it with a left,
that's not
hit
what
it
I'm
with a right. Everybody else hit T like, hey, I got you, I got me. Like, shut up, nigga.
What I'm saying is, I know that.
I know that in my house, I'd be knocking it out.
Not what
the
I'm saying at
ball.
all. What I'm saying is, I know that.
Shut
is
up.
True. That is.
What are you about to say? Shut up.
Let me say.
No, because you ain't want to say something stupid.
No, I'm saying that is true, and because I know how I am with self-esteem, that would be a deal breaker for me.
Wow. If she ain't come, you would leave your wife?
No, it's not what I'm saying.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Let me say two things quickly.
All right.
Number one, and to me, beyond marriage, if you're dating somebody for a long time and you are sexually intimate, every time it's not going to be a knock it out of the park like time.
No.
Like men swallow your egos. Yeah. Women shut up. Like every time you bring it, you're not bringing. Every time it's not going to be a game. Yeah. I do think it is a problem if every time it's like okay, what's next? Like, yeah, I think that is a problem. If every time you are intimate,
but he just said that there were women that don't come.
That's what I'm saying.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying,
I said there are women that don't come easy.
There are some women that don't come at all.
And I'm saying that that's a deal breaker.
For you.
Yes, for me.
You would leave the woman for not
I don't
coming.
know how I could, because of me, you could say me needing my ego stroked. You could say with me, I've been public that I don't have the highest of self-esteem. If I know I'm not physically pleasing you, I can't see how I would not be able to stay. That would be hard for me. Now, does that mean divorce? No, we've gone to that part.
You said it's a deal breaker, so that does mean divorce.
It is a definite deal breaker.
Like, you wouldn't be with her.
I can't, and that's
so is that a conversation you had prior to,
right? Because
and counseling, do you orgasm? No, yes,
or were you orgasming her prior to marriage?
None of your business.
Exactly.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm saying
hit it with a left.
It is a conversation where her and I have had, and like, it's one of the reasons why I solidified. I was like, okay, good. I'm happy with my choice, because I know, one, like you said, it is not just a male thing. Like, there's something that he does, but it is important for her to know if she orgasms, how she orgasms. That's a huge conversation.
How she orgasms?
Yes, because men need to hear that conversation. Some women are clitoral, some women are vaginal. So you thinking you slinging you King D and you going all night.
How, as far as I'm like how high,
right? Like, what is happening? Right?
Not the pitch, Mitch. Okay? Meaning that some men orgasm in different ways.
Yeah.
And so she should know that. But even furthermore, you should know that, or you both should be willing to explore that.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't know that, and if it makes it just like,
I think that's the cool part about going into it like both as virgins, because y'all both don't know nothing.
The excellent part.
Y'all both don't know nothing.
I just imagine us putting things in the wrong holes, and I just imagine it
just laughing about it like, yo,
give me that ear, girl.
Give me that ear.
But I was gonna say something about because I was listening to Kevin on stage. He had a podcast talking about basically how comfortable can your child be with the whole idea of not just sex, but like sexual things or just like women things, right? So imagine T, your wife, Tanisha, she has her menstrual period, right? Mm-hmm. And imagine, would you be okay with TJ kind of being in the bathroom while mommy's changing her pad? No. And no, so one of the ladies on the show was speaking to that and saying she felt like that's a part of the literacy or understanding of the woman's body.
That's cute.
Okay, so you don't agree? I'm asking because I don't want to see a bloody tampon.
That's it.
I would pass out, but I don't know if that's something that I don't know. I don't know if that's because I have never really dealt with it the way that this lady's speaking to.
I very rarely bring up exes on this show just because I'm married and I just think it's not important.
Yeah,
that happened in a past relationship
where somebody showed you the pad.
I was curious and I asked the person to show me. And it was, and I have never lived.
Asked her to show you your pad.
The person to show me.
Okay.
Because I was, but it only brings to the point that you're saying.
You are disgusting. Like you are disgusting. How do you
bring it up and then knock me for what
I brought it up to say for your child hypothetically?
I was a child.
You like
I was a child. I was a teenager. I was a child. I was a teenager. I wasn't 25. I think I might have been 18, 19.
So he did it out of curiosity.
I wanted to know because to be fair. You know this now because you're a grown man and I'm a grown man and you married. But back then you didn't. You know a woman bleeds. What did you think about when you heard a woman? What did you think about? She bleeds. What I thought about is
she hurt.
I thought about like
I cut open.
I thought about like if I cut my hand, it looks like that kind of blood.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go any deeper.
No,
I'm good. I'm good.
Nope,
Mike.
No, because y'all messing me up right now. Because I've actually, had experiences where I've seen it, and like when you say, "Oh yeah, I thought it was this," and now I'm thinking about what it actually is.
Exactly. And my mind changed forever. Okay. I'm surprised I even watched the birthing process after what I saw on that particular day.
Okay.
So
I'm not saying nothing else to that topic. All right, so we're gonna. Can we put a button in that one?
That's cool.
Okay. Yes. So because I cannot.
So sorry.
I'm trying to stop thinking about it. Okay, so for us today, I think some of the main things that we talked about that I think we wanted to walk away from this podcast and we want people to remember about this podcast is the things that happen in the bedroom need to be addressed outside of the bedroom at some point, and not in a way that's argumentative, but in a way that says, "Hey, did you enjoy that? Did you like that? Is that something that you want to continue doing that way?" Or are we saying that as an agreeable statement or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were thinking a lot about that. I wasn't sure if you was sure.
I was making sure.
Okay.
Do you prefer it before or do you prefer it during?
After.
You prefer it after.
After.
Okay.
I prefer a perfectly isolated event.
But
I don't mind doing. I don't mind during. Excuse me. But I prefer. Let's talk about it just to see what you like. So outside of the pressure of the bedroom is what I was thinking too.
So I agree to that. So during there's etiquette, right? After you can kind of relax, not be worried about the pressure of everything happening in the moment,
right?
And you can just have a genuine conversation, like sit down at the dinner table or something like that, and just like, hey, so
I think even on the phone.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing.
I might not do dinner.
I wouldn't do
my
it.
Kids are there, but I see what you're saying. Like, me, it would be more so. It might be a way for me to connect, like post. Like kids are going to sleep or they're upstairs playing. Like, hey, you want to talk? Like we talk about.
I just think the initiation of the discussion it equips you, and I guess this is kind of going to my second point or our second point. It equips you to be able to have a normalcy in an environment to talk about sexual things, and I think the beginning of that is getting used to it with your wife first. And then it trickles into a culture that happens with your kids as well.
I also think it also can make you better at what you think you're doing.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's like a more like realistic, like you think you're killing it, but you like your wife ain't gonna lie to you when
this is like coaching each other.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing.
Post game.
Yeah, like a post game coaching meeting.
To be fair, it also will. To me, it might prevent adultery. So people are like 100%. To me, that's a major point. Like,
100%.
I said it before. I don't blame if somebody cheats, it's that person's fault alone why they cheat.
They made the decision.
Go ahead.
If somebody cheats, I gotta say this: if he cheats or she cheats, it is that person's. They cheated. They are wrong, and they are wrong alone. But I do think we don't do any root cause analysis as to why the person cheated. And if one of the reasons why the man or the woman cheated is because of lack of needs being fulfilled. And you never gave them an opportunity to try to fulfill that need because you didn't talk about it. Yeah. It's one thing to be incapable of doing it. Like if she's not capable, that's a different conversation. He just can't do it. Sorry, makes sense. Yeah. But if you didn't even provide an opportunity, then you're gonna get with somebody else, and it's gonna happen again, and it's gonna happen again. You just picking up another marriage. That's all you're gonna do is pick up marriage for marriage for marriage.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Root cause analysis. So those are the two main points that I had. I don't know if you guys had anything else.
That's good.
Okay, so that was great. One thing that we are doing is a new segment called "What Would You Do?" We're normally going to do this at the beginning of the podcast, but today we're going to do it at the end. It doesn't matter. We'll do that.
Cool.
What would you do? All right. So this is my new segment. I'm super excited about it. What if you could be famous but poor forever? What would you do?
Famous but poor forever.
Would you choose to be famous and poor forever?
Since we had a different meeting before this, John, what do you think I'm gonna say? You know me by now. What do you think I'm gonna say?
I don't know you, nigga.
You do know me. You told me I was a thief, so you know me. What do you think I'm gonna say?
You want to be famous?
Poor forever versus famous?
I said, what if you could be famous but poor forever?
So would I pick to be famous in that predicament?
I don't know.
No, because I'm gonna be broke.
So I don't think you can be.
I'm about to say, go ahead.
I don't think you can be. Like, if you're famous but poor, okay.
You're choosing to be famous. Like, you're Jay-Z, but you don't have no money, is what I'm saying.
No.
Okay. Would you choose to be that?
That's
like,
what I say.
You have the notoriety of Jay-Z,
Doesn't matter,
but
you're broke.
So I'm actually going to go a little deeper with it, right?
Yeah.
Pause. In reference to what is the what do you consider famous and poor? Right? What are your levels to that?
You have $0 in your account.
But you're famous.
But you're super famous. Everybody knows
Gandhi
you.
was famous, but he wasn't rich. I mean,
I'm just trying to say, like,
Yeah,
everyone knows you. Everyone loves you. All the women want to give it up to you. Not great. You're married, whatever. Keep that in your mind. But I'm just saying, you have the notoriety of Kevin Hart, of all those people, but you don't have the money of those people. I'm asking you, would you want that?
Mm-mm.
I'm broke.
I can care less about the type of person that I am. I can care less about like my name being out there on a billboard.
Yeah.
So that's just coming from like my personality and how I am. So I mean, picking famous but not having money, like that's dead. I would rather have money and be
obscure. No one knows you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually would prefer that.
Yeah.
I would that's even better. I'm broke and no one knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I'll walk around here with some $20 shoes from Target, some Levi jeans and a t-shirt. I mean, that ain't exactly what I got on right now, but almost there.
To a T, brother.
But you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm making six figures, several six figures, whatever, like
Seven,
yeah.
I think I agree. I like the idea of the fame, but I think what is great about the fame is that you have money. So I feel like if you're empty of the void of the money, it's like, what's good is the fame almost to me.
When you have fame, it's almost like the money comes after you.
Yeah.
Right? So people start, because you have this name that everybody knows, people are going to want to use that to endorse themselves.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay you for your name.
Yeah.
At this point, that's not, do I want to say equity or like that's equity.
You're leveraging your fame with money.
Value. Yeah. So
okay, cool. What if you woke up suddenly and your house is on fire? What 3 things would you save? Listen to this. One of them cannot be your wife or kid.
My Bible.
You are dead. A lie. And that's what says, like, God, really? What 3 things?
You don't know my spirit, Jonathan.
I know your Bible would be like, what Bible? I got my phone.
Thy word have I hid in my heart.
Yeah, shut up. That's stupid.
So I would take my okay. Hold on.
And I'm not your wife, your kid. That's not even an option, of course.
3 things.
3 things.
Can 3 things be an outfit?
3 things.
Or 1 thing can be an outfit?
3 things. 3 items.
3 items.
A shirt is one of the 3 things. Jeans is the second.
Are you kidding me?
Not a whole outfit. You got 3 things. 3.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna grab my bug out bag, my wallet, and my car keys. I have a bug out bag that has a shirt, jeans, socks, shoes,
that
water,
makes sense for Mike.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, he does.
So
MacGyver.
boom.
That makes sense for Mike. Like I got something. I got a house in there. I got cars. I'm like, nigga,
all the essentials I need for when it do catch on fire. Grab that stuff.
I need a go bag. What's it called? What'd you call it?
Bug out bag.
A bug out bag.
I mean, that's just what I call it, but people call it go bag.
I need a go bag.
WTF bag.
Yeah, I need to go back. I'm gonna call him on WTF. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna take my portable projector.
Okay.
My Apple TV.
Okay. That sounds like you.
Yeah.
And your TV.
Well,
Entertainment. Done.
no,
Right.
at least I can project, so I'm not gonna take the TV. I just insurance gonna have to cover that. And yeah, probably. I mean, my car keys. Yeah, I agree.
So you just about to be out this joint naked.
Right.
Like
Butt naked.
slinging.
But,
No, because I'm being in my car watching the thing on Netflix.
Naked.
Okay.
On them leather seats.
Disney Plus
or
and this.
cloth seats.
that's
I'm about to
hilarious.
get
Ew.
Netflix. I'm already Netflix and chill ready. So like, if you think about it, it's just
That's so funny. I'm gonna grab jeans because I don't have a go bag yet. I'm gonna grab jeans. I'm gonna grab my keyboard, my music keyboard.
Got it.
And probably I'll grab my car keys.
I'm gonna be very clear just to be clear, that means both of you all sleep with no clothes on, and that's.
I just
really
said jeans. I said my jeans.
But that I don't have to grab that. I'm going back to your point because I'm assuming I already have clothes.
No,
on.
this is like you're butt
You didn't
naked.
say butt naked.
Do I gotta say butt naked?
Yes.
You're butt naked, T.
Okay. All right,
And I don't
then.
want to ever have to
If
say
I
that
sleep
again.
naked, that's none of your business.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
and now you're telling me you want to know it.
I just know you already exposed it.
I've always known.
Oh,
Jeans.
exposure.
I'm
is-
grabbing my go
already
bag.
naked.
I'm grabbing my go bag. You got an overnight bag.
But what about beyond to that day, T? He's talking about the next day he'll have
I'm
his go
thinking
bag.
longevity, man.
Yeah, you a little disgusting
fine.
Baltimorean.
With his dick out.
Dick out, the TV on. Jesus.
rock out with my cock out?
All right, this is the last one. What if you had to choose between a wonderful romantic relationship that would end after only a year or a so-so relationship that would last your entire life? Which one would you choose? This is a good one. This is my favorite one.
Wait, repeat that one.
All right, one more time. All right. What if you had to choose between a wonderful romantic relationship that would end after only a year
Yeah.
or a so-so relationship that would last your entire life? Which one would you choose?
Dang.
Do you want a so-so relationship that will last your entire life or a 1 year relationship that will be romantic?
So. And the reason why.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think. Okay, go.
The reason why is because the wonderful one will be. It's going to suck to think back to that all the time. I'm gonna be so blown. I'm gonna be upset.
Oh, you're saying for the romantic one?
Yeah.
You'll be blown that you had it and that was
It's
it.
gone. It's like being rich and then going back broke. People kill themselves for that. You know, like all these people that end up killing themselves in prison because they were there. It's not because they're in prison. It's because they were so wealthy, and now they have nothing. Like, and so that's how I think I would feel. I would feel like, you know, that's the only reason
funny.
why. Like
I would do the opposite,
Yeah.
right? And I'm thinking just from a mental perspective of like, as long as if I got this memory, I'm cool with it. And eventually I am going to get over the fact that that thing is no longer there anymore. Cause I'm going to be in the mindset of like, hey man, I still got to live. I still got to move on, but I'm still always going to have that memory at the end of the day.
I'm good.
I'm with Mike on this one. I do not want a so-so relationship for years. For years?
Yo, that
That would blow me. I'd be like,
Yeah.
yo, I'll be on the
the
podcast every
mental,
week.
emotional
Like,
roller coaster
I
back
understand
and
it.
forth. Nah,
A
But
so-so
is not
relationship.
horrible.
It's not horrible,
Yeah.
but I'm saying I'd rather have a 1 year fully romantic. I enjoyed every moment of it than to have so-so for my whole
That's
life.
depressing me.
nah,
It's
man.
depressing me that you want that
But
for your life.
no, but what I'm saying is because how do you follow that up? And, and even if you, I understand just getting over it, but that's difficult.
You've lived, T. It's almost like, would you rather make, okay, let's frame it like this. Would you rather make so-so money? Let's say so-so money is $30,000 a year for the rest of your life. Or would you rather have $50 million for 1 year?
But that's different because if I had $50 million for 1 year, I'm gonna make that stretch. That's a hard analogy for me.
You're going to make that stretch.
Yeah, I'll make that stretch. Like I wouldn't.
No, you won't. It's gone. You got to spend it. That's the analogy. That's the situation.
Or
you got to spend it.
Watch this. Or $30,000 for the rest of my life.
Yeah, or $30,000.
I would take $30,000 for the rest of my life.
So you want so-so and you want $30,000. You're just a so-so type of
I
person.
would be depressed with the $30,000 for the rest of my life, based off of the fact that I would want more, rather than living all those moments that I would like experience all these things in a year. I would just try to like experience everything and anything that I ever could.
That's
in
what I'm
that
saying.
time frame.
And I would pick the $50 million.
No.
Because $30,000 ain't gonna give you certain experiences. I'm saying
it's trash.
So if I had to choose between what I pretty much already make right now in real life, amen, $30,000. I don't make that, but I'm just saying $30,000 versus like $50 million, where you could travel, you could have all the experiences, you could eat all the foods, you could go all the places, you could have all the parties. It's going to end.
I don't like that.
You are insane, bro. Like, what is happening to you right now?
I'm about to punch you in your chest.
All right, let's fight. Let's fight on
like
air. Oh, okay. I'm about to say, let's do it now.
Listen. As long as I let me get out of the way.
Because I think, I hate getting deep like that. I think.
Please pause that.
Listen, I love getting deep. Okay.
I want to go deeper.
I think this concept is also.
You sound immature.
I can't.
I'm 6 years old all day.
I turned a new leaf in 2020.
No, you didn't. Shut up. It's gonna last all of 20 minutes. Okay.
20 minutes and 20 seconds. I think this concept is very similar to how believers are with their focus on enjoying the rest of their life in heaven versus moments of happiness down here. That's why my mindset is like, yes, the $30,000 is it is horrible.
You had to go there. This
sorry.
is a very light, fun, not godly or interaction here right now.
Get beyond. Even though I'm not comparing heaven to so-so, what I'm just saying is that human beings were very like, if I know it's going to end, because what your scenario presented to me is that no matter what, I'm going to have $30,000 for every year. No matter what, I ain't got to work for it. I'm going to have $30,000 every year. Make sense? I could adjust my life to that $30,000. I can now make modifications with that $30,000.
Okay.
Even with a so-so relationship, because it's not horrible. I can make adjustments.
You can adjust your life to that so-so relationship.
I can make adjustments to where it's.
Sounds like settle.
It could be. Maybe it is. Yeah. It could be. That's fine.
Happy marriage to you, bro.
No,
go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, to know, to begin this journey of you are only going to have this for 1 year, you just like ride, that's it. And then in the pick between at least being able to.
You're so busy thinking about how you're going to feel afterwards. Yeah. I'm trying to have you understand that this is just. Option A is this. Option B is this. I'm not asking you to think about what's going to feel after that.
And I don't think I can. I think I'm thinking about the post no matter what. And
so you don't even know how to play the game, because I'm trying to tell you that's how you play the game. The game is put A and B on the screen.
And you weigh pros and cons. And pros and cons, I am thinking about the fact that I'm only going to have this for a year versus life.
Guys, I had this segment. Look, guys, we don't need to have this segment.
Am I right? Like, you gotta give me some point.
Brotherhood at its finest.
I just can't take him.
You just mad because you didn't get past my analogy about the Holy Ghost.
If your phone ring one more time on this Relatable One podcast, I'm going to lose it. And you don't know how to turn it off.
It's coming. It's coming to the computer. It's coming to the Mac.
Hey, when I heard you say that, I couldn't even realize
it's not even my Mac. Why is my phone coming through the Mac?
I don't know. See, these are all personal issues.
So just to understand how the MacBook and
I know how the MacBook works.
I'm just making sure you do, because you asked the question.
What is the cloud anyway? What is the cloud?
See, that's what's wrong with y'all young bucks. Y'all always in the clouds.
New things the clouds though in the sky. They
need to be focused down here.
Right. The people just confused.
In reality.
This is so funny because I'm so good with technology. So this is kind of making me mad.
What are these syncing up together in the phone and the Mac?
From hopping out of this
good
chair.
Mr. Huxtable coming out.
My God, why are you 95 years old with this technology, bro?
Listen, I don't know when I said I don't use this computer. You know that.
I understand that, but you just can't ask stupid questions. I'm sorry, y'all. What? This is funny to me.
Bite me.
AT, do you have a real talk rapper for this conversation?
I have no real talk rapper.
This was a very we have had guys. We had two separate planned episodes for you guys, and we were going to shoot them both today. And very literally, we just couldn't get neither of them off the ground. In terms of, we talked about one whole thing, And we actually didn't realize, we never actually hit that start recording button.
Man.
And we had a great conversation. If you was here, you would have been like, man, I agree.
Man, you talking about depressed afterwards?
Yeah.
Though?
That was a hard hitter.
My God.
That Mike was like shaking.
I was hurt.
Just for the record, but I can't work technology. Mike just didn't hit the button to say start.
Yeah, but you also.
I'm throwing him under the bus. Right. Mike couldn't hit play.
Okay. Well, I'm the only one here.
John got 3 screens.
Technologically
I
savvy.
got 3 screens, and John couldn't even notice that it wasn't playing.
So if I'm technologically savvy or whatever, I gotta sound like this. Is that it?
That's exactly it.
Oh my gosh.
So here we go, guys. That was our first episode of 2020, man. Our first original episode of 2020.
Yeah.
We are super excited about what we're going to be doing this year. I need you guys to like do everything you can to put the name of Relentless out there, Relentlessly Real Podcast out there. That means going to iTunes and hitting that subscribe, or go to obviously subscribe to the content, but also you leave a review. Like if you enjoy the content and stuff that we're talking about, we need you. We love you. We really, really want you to leave a review. Because if you do that, that kind of puts us in a higher light within the iTunes platform. Additionally, even on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, we're trying to figure out how we're going to create some platform to streamline everything too, so you can be able to comment on the individual episodes, and we can kind of create a community about these topics together. Additionally, we added that new segment, obviously, where we talk about what would you do where Terrence ruined it. But you ruined it. Okay, so don't shrug. You ruined it.
John doesn't like different ideas.
Obviously, we're gonna keep the trending topics, and we'll also do the real talk wrap up normally. But guys, rock with us, like hang with us. Keep push and play. Like we want to keep having the content come forward. If you want to
push and play, Mike.
He's a jerk. He in jerk mode right now.
So childish.
If you guys want to subscribe, obviously go to iTunes. Also, additionally, if you want to send us topics, send it to Relentlessly Real Podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's Relentlessly Real Podcast at gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, especially in YouTube as well.
Yeah.
We really need that. I need you to hit that subscribe button over there and kind of have some dialogue with us. We love you. We appreciate you for listening to the podcast. I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And I am Terrence.
And this is the Relentlessly Real Podcast.
Peace.
Click the button.
Hit the button.
You click the button.